Okay, it's 11 o'clock, so we're going to get rolling here. I just want to start by thanking everyone for tuning in today. My name is Caitlin Wolf, and I'm an admissions representative here at NICC. I'm located on the Piazza campus. Bailey Hemingway is also logged in today, and she is co-hosting. She'll be keeping an eye on the chat box during the presentation. So if you do have any questions, feel free to just type them in there for her to get back to you on. Just some general housekeeping to start. If you do have any questions, please leave it in the chat box that Bailey's monitoring, or you can do the raise your hand feature. To get to that raise your hand feature, you can scroll to the bottom of your screen. There is a little icon that says participants. You can click on that and it will let you raise your hand. We'll see that come up and then we can unmute you so you can ask it aloud. Just our contact information to start. So again, I'm Caitlin Wolf. We're both admissions representatives and our emails are listed here. So if you do have any questions that you might not want to ask right now, or maybe you're one of those people who needs to process everything before they ask questions, you can always email us at a later time and we can get back to you that way. All right, so just the agenda for today is we're gonna kind of rock right into the admissions information, give you all the basic need to knows about NICC and what it's like to be a college student here. Then we're gonna switch over and talk more about financial aid. We'll do a little bit of a wrap up. We'll have a survey link for you that Bailey will post in the chat box. And then we'll do a Q&A session. So if anyone has any questions, we'd be happy to answer them for you at that point. So just some facts about NICC. We are convenient. We have about 70 different programs of study. 68 of those programs of study are meant to be employable in 2 years or less, meaning that we have students that come to NICC that don't plan to get a bachelor's degree. They want to come and get specific training and a specific skill and then go get a job in that field. Now, we do have students that come here for the complete opposite purpose of getting their gen eds done and then transferring on to a four-year institution. So we have a little bit of everything for a little bit of something for everyone. We do have multiple locations. So like I mentioned previously, I'm on the Piazza campus as well as Bailey. But we do have another campus in Calmer, Iowa. That's about 2 hours from Piazza, and they're right outside of Decorah, Iowa, if you're more familiar with that town. And then we have multiple locations. These are our service centers, and they can be found in Cresco, Dubuque, Manchester, New Hampton, Owine, and Waukon. There is a lot that is offered at a variety of these center locations. So if you do live near one of the center locations, please let us know and we can get you in touch with the individuals who are at those centers. And also we can give you the information about what those centers can offer you as a potential student while you're in high school or after your high school education is over if you are thinking about coming to NICC. They can help you with things such as testing, answering questions, help with financial aid, anything like that. We also have different ways you can take our courses. So obviously, demographically, we have multiple locations, but also we know that everyone learns in a different way. So just like you, our classes are unique. We have online classes, which with COVID right now, most of our students are utilizing. We also offer face-to-face classes and then hybrid classes. So those face-to-face classes are mandatory in some programs. So for example, welding can't be taken online. That's one of those classes that you take face-to-face. You get a lot of that hands-on instruction. And then we have the hybrid classes, and the hybrid classes are nice because for hybrid, you can take some of them online and some of them in person. So for some students that might be maybe twice a week you're taking online classes, and then the other days of the week you can come to campus. We have a lot of commuter students that might be traveling from different towns nearby. So a lot of them like to utilize the hybrid classes because they're still getting some of that face-to-face instruction. They're getting to meet people in person, things like that, but they're committing less days a week to drive to campus. So a lot of those students really like that hybrid setup. We also have different class lengths. So we have the traditional semester format, that's about 16 weeks. But then we also have some courses that are offered in 8 to 10 week sessions. We have our Z program, which stands for zero textbook cost. That's a completely online program that takes place in 8-week sessions. So we just have a lot of different things to offer students depending on what is best for you. You know, everyone's in a different place of life. A lot of our online learners are people who work full-time and have kids, and they're just trying to advance in their education. And then we have some face-to-face workers and learners who maybe are coming straight out of high school, doing one of those really important hands-on programs like nursing or welding or diesel, where you really need to be there and get that interaction and experience. And then, like I mentioned, the hybrid is a really good option for students who want to have a little bit of both worlds. This is a map of our center locations and then also the counties we serve. So the blue map is where all of our center locations are and our Piazza campus and our Calmer campus. The campuses, which are the main hubs where we have most of the students at and most of the programs run out of, are the yellow dots. And then the little white dots are all of the other centers that we have. So you can see we cover really all of Northeast Iowa. And then we also have the yellow map here that shows all of the centers in the counties that we cover. So all of those centers that you see in the blue map are within these yellow counties. And the counties are nice to see because if you are a high school student, if you're in one of these counties in the yellow, most likely we are the school that you can take classes with. So pretty much every student in Iowa can take classes at a community college while they're still in high school. But if you're in our yellow counties here on this map, then most likely that school you can take classes with is us. So we are happy to help you when you're still in high school if you are looking to get ahead and take some of those college classes while you're still in high school. We also have what we call success coaches that go out in all of these counties and work with high school students to help them do some career exploration and hopefully get ahead in their college courses and credits before they graduate. So there is a lot of availability in terms of options of where we can help you and serve you the best. I always want to start by talking about what a community college actually is. There's a lot of misconceptions about what a community college is and what it has to actually offer students. So I just kind of want to start by breaking down the differences between a public school, a private school, and a community college. So public institutions you can think of as like the D1 football schools where you always see the sports on TV. In Iowa, those would be UNI, so University of Northern Iowa, Iowa State, ISU, and then University of Iowa, U of I. And these schools are generally offering 4-year plus degrees, meaning that you can get your bachelor's degree, which is considered like a 4-year degree, or in some cases, higher education than that. So some of those schools offer master's programs or PhD programs. And then we have the private side of those 4-year institutions, same concept where they're offering a 4-year plus degree. So a bachelor's degree, maybe a master's, maybe a PhD. The big thing to note about those institutions is that they do not offer associate's degrees or anything less than a bachelor's degree, okay? So if you're looking for a program like welding or diesel, you're not gonna be able to take those as a bachelor's degree program because there's no such thing as a bachelor's in, welding, okay? So if you are looking to take something like welding, you're gonna wanna go to a trade school or a community college like NICC to get the skills you need to pursue that career. Other things to know with public versus private. Public schools tend to be a lot larger. So if you're thinking of like the cliche traditional thing you see on TV where they have 200 people in a lecture hall, that's more of the public style. You could have a lecture hall of anything between 50 or 500 students. Then you have private sides, which is a lot smaller. Private schools are generally closer to the size of what you might be used to in high school and also similar to the size of community college, where the classroom sizes are most likely 20, 25 or less. And then you have community college, like NICC. They offer degree options that are 2 years or less. Now, I say 2 years, but it doesn't mean that it might not take you more than 2 years. So if you're going part-time, for example, it might take you 3 years or 4 years. Or if you have prerequisites to your program, it might take you a little longer than 2 years. But we say 2 years because an associate's degree is considered a 2-year program, okay? So we have a 2-year or less options. So we have an Associates of Arts, and we have an Associates of Science, the AA or the AS, and these are meant to be transferred out. So if you're one of those students who knows they want to get a 4-year degree, eventually get your bachelor's or go higher than that, AAs and ASs are perfect because they are meant to be transferred on to one of those 4-year institutions. A lot of people consider that as like our general eds, gen education classes, where they transfer those out. So we do have those options, but we also have what's called an Associates of Applied Science. Now the AAS degree is truly what it says. It's an applied science. So we have some 2-year programs such as your RN for nursing. And that is an Associates of Applied Science, meaning that you can go get a job in that 2 years or less. It's applied knowledge. So another 2-year program would be like dairy science. Dairy science in 2 years, you could get your Associates of Applied Science. It's different than Associates of Science because you're taking those applied coursework. So for Associates of Science, it's a lot of general, right? General education courses, whereas in Applied Science and AAS, you're truly taking classes that are basically all in dairy science, right? Because you're getting an applied associate's degree. That being said, if you do get an Associates of Applied Science, it doesn't mean that none of that could transfer on. It's just not meant to. It's meant to get you a job in that field. So for nursing, for example, that's kind of one that can play both fields. You can go get a job or you can transfer it on. We also have degrees that are less than 2 years. So we have a diploma, which is listed there as the letter D. And a diploma is a 1-year program. Some examples of that would be welding or diesel mechanics or the auto program in Piasta, medical assistant, paramedic can be a 1-year program. So we have that option as well for students who maybe don't want to commit to 2 whole years, or depending on what program they want, they don't need to commit to 2 whole years, okay? And then we have certificate programs, which is listed as C and CPC. The only difference is the one CPC just stands for Career Pathway Certificate. For the sake of today's, just us talking through, just know that they're basically the same in terms of what kind of classes you take. The big thing is that they're under 6 months generally, okay? So it's just a different level of commitment in terms of the time frame you're putting into it. Now, what you can keep in mind though is that community colleges, I have those 2 arrows pointing upward because you can start at a community college and then go up into a public or private institution. So you could take anything from one class at a community college like an ICC all the way through 2 years and getting your associate's degree, and then transfer those classes out into a 4-year school. Now these 4-year schools could be Upper Iowa, UD, Loras, Clark, Cornell, Kirkwood. Some people do start here and transfer to Kirkwood even at another community college level. So I mean, there's a lot of opportunities for you to transfer out if you are just wanting to start your career path with us. So keep that in mind. You're not starting over when you transfer out. In fact, if you get your Associates of Arts, for example, and transfer to University of Dubuque, you'll start as a junior. Okay, so you're not starting back to your freshman year, and a lot of people get confused by that. So it's there to help you. If anything, save money. We're a lot more affordable typically than the traditional public school or private school in Iowa. And also, it's guaranteeing you have that small class size and maybe that hands-on opportunity that you might not get at the larger schools. Okay. So we have something for everyone. These are just the list of all the cluster programs that we have. A lot of people think that community colleges only have trade programs like welding or electrical. And it's true that we do have that, but we also have a lot of other things to offer students. So we do have advanced manufacturing, the traditional programs that a lot of people think of, but our Kalmar campus is actually very well known for our ag and animal science programs. We have auto tech programs, business, marketing, hospitality, construction, education, human, public services, health sciences, IT, so information technology, and then of course the transfer programs that we talked about earlier. So what is your goal? Every student comes in an ICC as one of these 3 umbrellas. So about half of our students transfer or apply as an undecided student. Okay, so some of you listening right now might be one of those undecided students. Maybe you're in high school and you're about to graduate and you have no idea what you want to do after graduation. Or maybe you are an adult that has been working in their career field for 20 years and you just decided that you need something different. You don't know what you want to do different, but you just know you need to make a change. So maybe you're also one of our undecided students. The cool thing about NICC is that you actually can apply as an undecided student and be accepted as an undecided student. We want to help you figure out what's the best and next step for you in your life. So if you need help kind of talking through your options or maybe getting some experience doing job shadows to truly narrow down what you like, we are here to help you. So we take those undecided students and then we move them into one of these 2 other umbrellas, employment tracks or transfer track. So if you know you want to transfer on and get your 4-year degree somewhere else, get your bachelor's degree, then we can help you. So you fall under that transfer track or you fall under the employable track, which is those programs that are 2 years or less that are meant to get you a job. Okay, so all of our students fall under one of these categories. If you start as an undecided, we'll move you in one of the other two. The cool thing though is that 96% of our students are employed or continuing their education after a year of graduation from us. So they truly are employable tracks. You're gonna get the skills needed to get a job, or they're transferable tracks where you can take those credits and truly transfer them on and get ahead in your education that way. So we are here to help no matter which path you're under. Our education is with a purpose. So we don't want to waste your time. We want to know what your goal is, whether that's to transfer, get that 4-year degree. We want you to get that hands-on experience, the training that you need to feel confident when you do leave your education here at ICC. So we're going to make sure that you get the clinicals you need, the hands-on experience that you need, so you feel confident when you do leave NICC. So keeping it personal, like I talked about earlier, we want to make sure that you know that we are here for you. So the average class size here is 14. Not only do we just know your name, because we don't think that's enough, right? So you hear it from a lot of schools, you're not just a number, you're a name. Well, that's great, but knowing someone's name doesn't mean that you know anything about them, right? So I can see everyone who's clicked in here to these Zoom meetings, it has your name. Well, it doesn't mean I know who you are. That doesn't mean I know what your goals are, what you're passionate about. And it's really nice to see at ICC how much our teachers do care. They do know what you're passionate about. They want to know what your goals are. They want to know who your kids are. If you have some kids at home or pets at home, we have a lot of teachers that invite students over to do study sessions at their house, or out to eat, and they have pizza parties and study for the upcoming exams. So it truly is like a big family at ICC, and we can do that because there's not class sizes of 200 people. We want that small class size so you feel confident asking questions, so you can be a part of the discussion. Sometimes when there's even groups of 10 people, students are too nervous to get to know people, and maybe they're shy to answer a question because they don't want to be wrong. Whereas if you have larger class sizes, you're definitely not going to do that. Or hopefully if you have a small class size, you can get to know all those students and feel comfortable getting to know them. We do have about 6,000 students between both campuses in our center locations. A little more than half of those are here in Piasta, where I'm located, so about 3,400 of them. With the students on this campus in Piasta and the students in Kalmar, we have students that range in age between 17 and 60. So it's a lot different than the high school vibe that you might be used to, even though you have those small class sizes. There's going to be people in your classes that are maybe the age of your parents or have kids your age. And there's going to be people in your classes that are from all different walks of life. So maybe they're coming directly out of high school. Maybe they have children at home. Maybe they have grandchildren at home. Maybe they've been in the career, in the job force for 15 years before they come to school. Maybe they've never had a job. So it's really interesting. And it's honestly really nice to see the perspectives that come out of our classrooms, because not only are we getting to learn from our faculty, but we're getting to learn from one another in the classroom. And having all those different perspectives is a really great asset to our classroom setting. We also have a lot of support for our students. So we have academic advising. What that is when every single student who applies to NICC, when their application gets processed, we give them an advisor. And when you are ready to sign up for classes, your advisor is who will help you do that. But they're kind of just that person that you can always call if you have questions. They want to make sure that you're taking the right classes. If you are looking to transfer, they can make sure you're taking the classes that transfer to the next school that you might end up at. So they're really great tools to utilize. We also have career services. So they work a lot with our undecided students, but also students who might be getting ready to graduate. They can do mock interviews with you. They can review your resume or help you start your resume if you've never done one before. They help set up job shadows. They host career fairs at school. And then, of course, they can help you find a job if you need it upon graduation. We also have a full-time mental health counselor on staff. And there's another counselor on the Kalmar campus as well. So if you're having a bad day, or maybe you're mad at your teacher, or just overwhelmed with everything that life's throwing at you, there are people here that you can talk to. And I forgot to mention that all of these here listed under support are all free to students. It's just included in your tuition. Okay, so it's not going to cost you an extra $20 to see the counselor or anything like that. We also make accommodations for those students who need it. So we have disability services. If you need accommodations, anything from test taking, maybe in a private setting, or longer time to take your test, or maybe you need, to use a laptop instead of writing or things like that, please let us know and we can make sure we get those accommodations made for you. We will never ask you that. So if you are a high school student that's used to your teachers just knowing that you need accommodations, that's not the same process in college. So you just need to make sure you let someone know if you do need us to make those accommodations for you, because we are happy to do it. We just need to know if you need them. One of my favorite things about NICC is our Learning Center. So that's basically free tutoring, okay? The coolest part about ours is that it's not students, it's truly paid faculty staff. So that is their job to tutor you in a specific topic. We have tutors that range in a variety of different topics and classes. So we have tutors who are there for math or writing, or there's even one lady that's so great and that her job is to help you teach yourself how to better study for you. So everyone learns differently. So she can just help you with study skills. How do you best learn? How can she help you where you can understand your course material? We also have different tutors who are there for RNs. So we have registered nurses who tutor nursing students and a variety of other people that are there to help you. So feel free to utilize the Learning Center. We have one in Piasta, we have one in Kalmar, and then we also have one in the Dubuque Center, which is our largest center. So take advantage of those individuals. They are there to help you and they are happy to help you. Life outside the classroom. So on a little bit of a lighter note and a little more fun, our campuses are really fun places to be. So a lot of people think that they might not get the college experience if they are going to a community college. And that's certainly not true. There's a lot of stuff going on. So we have one official sports team, which is our sports shooting team. That's the one team that we have that's competitive. It is co-ed and on both campuses. And essentially that's shooting clay pigeons. We have a lot of entertainment on campus. So on any given week, there might be a musician or a musician or someone who hypnotizes people. We have an illusionist sometimes that comes in, all sorts of different entertainment like that. One of my favorite days is Exotic Animal Day. You can see it in the bottom picture there. She's holding a fox. So this year they brought in foxes and chinchillas and skunks and snakes and all sorts of fun things. So if you wanted to go snuggle with an animal, that they were there to do that and take selfies with. We have Fall Fest in Kalmar, which is basically a big outdoor celebration of fall. We do have access to fitness centers on both campuses. So if you're trying to stay active, students can utilize those resources. We have different intramurals. So if you like to participate in sports and maybe a non-competitive level, I would say it's still kind of semi-competitive because we do play against different schools. So here in Piasta, they play against University of Dubuque students typically for intramurals. And they have anything from sports like bowling all the way through like flag football. So maybe you're less into like the super physical sports, you could still get involved in other intramurals. One of the best things that I think that our students can take advantage of is our service learning trips that we take every spring break. Luckily, before COVID hit this year, our students got to go to Arizona. And I know they had a lot of fun doing that. In the mornings, they generally volunteer at different nonprofits every day. And then in the afternoons, they do different fun stuff. So they're always a very affordable option for students. I know this year, the students spent no more than $250 a person because they do a lot of fundraising on campus. And that included their plane ticket, their cabins they stayed in, everything. So it is a really affordable option for students. And it's just a cool way to make memories, meet new friends, because we do take students from Kalmar and Piasta. And then also something to put on your resume because you're helping a lot of people in different locations. They always go to a different US city. So this year, like I said, they went to Phoenix, Arizona. Last year, they went to Nashville, Tennessee. The year before that, I believe it was Washington, DC. So they have a lot of fun options and opportunities for students. Now we're gonna kind of switch roles here and talk about admissions and financial aid. So maybe you've been listening along and you're like, yeah, this sounds really great. What do I need to do now? How do I afford my education? This is what we're gonna talk about. So first and foremost, something that's kind of different. If you are visiting other schools, you might have noticed that they charge per semester or per year. We don't do that here at NICC. Community colleges generally charge per credit that you take. So here, in-state tuition for the rest of this academic year is $198 per credit. I do believe that's going up to $200 per credit for this upcoming fall, just so you're not surprised if you see those numbers coming up here soon. And then out of state is $222 per credit. And again, I believe that's going up to $224. So just a raise in $2 per credit there for next year. But these tuition costs are truly for the classes you're taking. So you're not paying for the semester. So a lot of those four-year schools, they'll charge you, $18,000 for the semester, and you can take up to 18 credit hours. Whereas you're probably not going to take 18 credit hours, so you're getting charged for something that you're probably not utilizing all of. Whereas here, if you're taking 12 credit hours, you're only paying for those 12 credit hours, okay? 12 credits is considered full-time. I get that question a lot. So cost savings. We know that education is an investment in yourself, okay? We know that means that you're probably saving money, or your parents are, or you're gonna have to find a way to come up with that tuition cost. But that's why we want to help you. So we want to talk about the affordability of a community college versus maybe a public institution or a private school, and also how we can help you fund that college experience. So first and foremost, the tuition cost at NICC includes your application. So it's free to apply. It includes your testing you might have to take, your graduation, parking. So you don't have to buy a parking pass in addition or anything like that. And then of course, everything I mentioned earlier. So the tutoring, the counseling services, everything like that. Estimated NICC tuition is about $5,000 and a year. And then for Iowa public colleges, that's about $7,500, whereas private colleges are maybe about $27,000. So you can just kind of see what you'd be saving by starting or doing all of your education at a community college like NICC. Cost savings are also listed there. So essentially, if you started at NICC and then transferred to a private school, you could be saving up to like $47,000 in your education, which that's a lot. So we want you to invest in yourself, but obviously we want to make that investment as affordable as possible. So the first thing you want to make sure that you do is do your financial aid form. So your free application for federal student aid, usually called a FAFSA. That's available right now for individuals who are seniors in high school that might be starting in fall or summer or next spring, or anyone who's already out of high school looking to start. So if you're still a junior or a sophomore, you don't need to worry about this yet. Just keep it in the kind of the back of your head for later. Whereas everyone else can kind of focus in here on the number one step, which is doing your FAFSA document. It's a free form to fill out, and you can send it to up to 10 schools. So let's say you're looking at maybe coming to an ICC or Iowa State or Loras. Okay, so if you're thinking about those three different schools, you can send your FAFSA to all three of those schools. Because what that's going to do is it's going to let that school know that you need to know what you're going to get in financial aid. And every school's different. Every school gives out different scholarships, different grants, everything like that. So you're going to want to send it to any school that you're thinking about attending. What that's going to do is they're going to send you out what they call an awards letter or a benefits package, usually an awards letter, but it's all essentially the same thing. What it's going to tell you is this is how much tuition costs. This is how much you can get in grants. Grants are free money that you never have to pay back. Then it's going to say this is how much you get in scholarships, which again, free money you never have to pay back. So grants and scholarships are the best because free money is the best money. And then it's going to say this is how much you could take up to in loans from the government. And again, I say you could take it. You don't have to take it just because they offer it to you. And then the last thing it's going to say is this is how much we expect you to pay out of pocket. Okay, so all the schools that you apply to and send your financial aid to, they're going to send you one of those documents, or they're going to make it available online for you to look at. So even though a school might cost $20,000, maybe after grants and scholarships, it's going to get you to $10,000. And then maybe when you get to that $10,000, they're going to offer you $5,000 in loans. So you're going to have to come up with $5,000 to pay out of pocket, you or your family, okay? And that goes to any school, okay? So they all have different things that they're offering you. So if you are worried about paying for your education, sending that to all the schools you're interested in will really help you see it in black and white what numbers you're looking at for your tuition cost, okay? Not all scholarships and grants are based on need or merit. So what that means is if you don't have a 4.0 in high school, it doesn't mean that you're not going to get scholarships and grants because your grades maybe aren't where they want you to be or where you want them to be, okay? But it also means that if your parents, maybe they make all sorts of money, they're both surgeons and you live in a mansion or whatever, it doesn't mean that you're not going to get anything from filling out your financial aid. So for example, if you're an Iowa resident, we have a thing called the Last Dollar Scholarship. You could be making $1 zillion a year, and if you are qualifying for that scholarship, you could still be getting zero tuition cost. So it doesn't matter in some cases what your need is of your family or your merit, like what grade you have in the past. So you should still be applying. A lot of students are hesitant to apply because they don't think they're going to get anything. Or maybe they had an older sibling that applied and the older sibling wasn't offered anything other than loans. So the parents don't want to fill it out again. It's different for every single person, every single year. And it also makes a difference in terms of what programs you're applying for. If it's different than your older sibling, that right there is going to make a big difference. Okay, so if your parents told you that you do not have to fill it out, don't believe them, do it anyway. You can blame it on me. And when you are doing that, we can help you. So if your parents maybe never have filled it out before, or you've never filled it out before, we are happy to walk through every aspect of that form with you. It's available online. Generally, when our offices and our centers and campuses are open, you can just come in and we walk you through it by sitting right next to you. Right now with COVID, our offices are closed, so we're all working from home, but it doesn't mean that we still can't help. You can just give us a call and we can talk you through the whole thing over the phone. Okay, so please let us know if you need help. State of Iowa grants need FAFSA on file before July 1st. So you can always turn in your FAFSA, no matter what, if you're gonna start school. But if you are looking to start in fall, it's really important to try to get it in before July 1st so you could be available to get more of those grants or scholarships that are free money, right? So make sure you turn it in early as possible so you have more opportunities to get some more of that free money. We also have a scholarship form that you can fill out just for NICC specifically. So it does say on here that the priority deadline is April 1st, but it does not mean that you already missed it and you can't apply. You can still fill out our scholarship form. It's super simple, it's online, it takes about 10 or 15 minutes. There's no essays involved, but it's just that one form and it will automatically apply you to everything that you're eligible for. So I would definitely recommend that you fill that out. We do poll money for that 3 times a year. So even if you miss the first polling deadline, you could still be getting scholarship money by the end of the school year. And then again, just to clarify, grants and scholarships, free money that you never have to pay back. Loans is something that you would eventually have to pay back. And then also remember that you don't have to take all the loans offered to you. You can accept all of the loans or part of the loans, whatever you think that you need to afford your semester. And then sometimes there's a work study option available to you, which is essentially that you are working for the school and then the money that you make will go towards your tuition. So it's not really free money, but you also don't have to pay it back. You're working for it at the time. Okay. If we got all the way through that and you're still like, yep, I want to do an ICC, it's definitely for me, here's kind of the steps you want to take. So you can apply online. You can submit your FAFSA that we just talked about and apply for our scholarships. That way you can afford your education, your investment in yourself. Then you're going to want to send any transcripts you have to us. So if you've been to any other college before, you're going to want to send those transcripts. We also accept military transcripts if you are a military member. And then we also want your high school transcripts, or like if you've done your GED or SHED, you could submit those to us as well, okay? Then you're gonna be able to schedule your advising appointment and complete any testing that you might need. So we do not require the ACT or the SAT here. We do accept it, so if you have taken it already, you can send us those scores. Usually they're on your high school transcript if you are recently graduated or about to graduate. But then if you haven't taken those, that's okay. You don't have to have your ACT done to come here. We have our own placement testing that you can take for free on any of our campuses or center locations. You're gonna wanna register for classes and then you pay your tuition and head to class. So pretty simple. All right, guys, well, we hope you enjoyed your visit here today. Like I said, Bailey's leaving a link in that chat box if you want to do our survey. We'd really appreciate it. If you do fill out that survey, we will be sending you a t-shirt here at some point for free. And free things are the best things, so you might as well do it. Feel free to be honest. We want to know if you learned a lot from today's presentation. If you thought that we were just the worst, you can tell us that too. We are always looking to make changes and better ourselves and better the information that we give out to you. I'm going to leave this section open here for a minute to answer any questions, so feel free to drop them in the chat box or do that raise your hand feature and we can unmute you. And then again, our phone numbers here are in our email addresses, so if you do want to connect to Bailey or I after the meeting today, again, my name is Caitlin. My email is wolfc@nicc.edu. Bailey, who's also on here, her email address is hemingwayb@nicc.edu. So feel free to reach out to us if you need anything else, guys.